I love that theme tune. Yes, guys, welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. I'm Gianni, the FPL guy. I'm joined by Dean Jones, Football Insider. Today we're talking transfers, we're talking team reveals. We have got less than 48 hours till FPL kicks off. Dean, how you feeling?
Feeling all right, mate. Feeling all right. It's obviously the first time I've ever been part of an actual FPL show leading into a season. So for me, this is one of a career highlight, mate. I've been playing FPL since it was launched, pretty much.
Yeah.
But all the time, I might have been working professionally within football, but never actually within the fantasy realm. Bit of pressure, bit of new pressure on my team selection this year. So I've got to take it seriously. But I'm really excited and I'm glad to have so many people jumping on the chat tonight. Thanks everybody for coming because, this is a big one, especially for you, mate. This is where the pressure's really on because no one's expecting me to do well. You're supposed to win the whole league.
Yeah, and I have expectation every season, and it kills me. I've seen a few comments. The Wolf of Wall Street says Gianni has Darwin 100%. Well, look, Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not sure if I have got Darwin anymore.
Mate, you talked him up so heavy the other day.
I know. Today's goalkeeping situation has changed everything for me. That 0.5 lets me move mountains. And look, in about 20 minutes' time, guys, you're going to see my draft. In 10 minutes' time, you're going to see Dean's. We've got get your questions in at any point. We don't have a dedicated transfer section today, but if you've got transfer related questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We have got a cool feature which you haven't seen pre-season called Against the Obvious. That's when Dean and I both pick a very highly owned asset and give you 60 seconds worth of reasoning as to why you shouldn't pick them. It's always a fun one. So yeah, it's going to be an eventful Friday. We kick off with Palace Arsenal. I think that game could cause some issues in FPL. We saw Arsenal lose to Brentford last time when FPL kicked off last Friday, a year ago. And I think Palace are the sort of team at Selhurst Park that could upset a few FPL managers.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm still going to predict an Arsenal win. Like I would say, like right now, all logic says that's a 2-0 Arsenal win. So going on pre-season form, but we never really know what that counts for. And Crystal Palace, definitely the sort of side that could rock the boat there, and it would be very Arsenal, wouldn't it, to have such a good pre-season, build up so promise, and then draw, maybe even lose. Imagine they lose. Imagine Palace get a late winner and Arsenal lose their opening game after all this promise. But of course, it can happen. Like I was going through a fixture list earlier on, and I was making predictions on all the games, and it looks so straightforward now. And I'm like, oh yeah, that'll happen. It won't. I think I predicted one draw out of the games, and like about 4 of these will be draws.
Yeah, I do remember years gone by. I don't know if it's still a thing. I always used to think final day of the season and first day of the season always gets loads of goals. Those fixtures. I don't know why. I don't know if it's something to do with like it's often hot and sunny and it's like summer football, or it's like defenses aren't well drilled enough.
Just a bit chaos, I think.
Yeah, so I'm hoping there's just loads of goals.
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping for goals. Yeah.
Good question at the bottom of the screen, Dean, about Cucurella.
Yeah, he's
Is
tired
this
of transfers.
something because like Chelsea fans are saying they're tired? Yeah, Man City fans are going to be very tired of this one. CFC Blues. They've been linked with Cucurella all summer, and it doesn't look like it's happening. They've sold Zinchenko though, so yeah, Cucurella to Chelsea. It's a good fit. It's a good fit for both clubs. But do we think it will go through?
I mean, look, he's basically agreed to join Chelsea at this point, and it's looking like a £50 million transfer. Brighton, of course, are in a situation where they need to replace him. Like they've got a worry of their own to contend with, and I don't think anyone really expected him to start the season. But they've got to deal with that. It looks like Levi Colwill might become part of this deal. Chelsea are a bit chaos at the moment, aren't they? Suddenly they're chatting to Frankie about Frankie de Jong again. Yes. That's quite chaos, and there was new chat about Brozier, and it's like, well, looks like he might be staying. That's probably because they haven't signed anybody. I saw one story earlier on saying Chelsea might get Memphis Depay. That's chaos, absolute chaos. So it's all over the place at the moment. They call it silly season for a reason. It's very hard to keep up with.
Yeah, Benji's got some questions about Man City players. We might try and get to that a little bit later. I mean, looks like they'll try and they'll probably look to strengthen, but the beauty is they've got time. So we'll talk specifics later. But De Jong, yeah, De Jong's an interesting one because I
Yeah.
don't think it's happening to United, is it? It would have happened by now, surely.
I don't
Did
know. I mean,
Chelsea
United
steal
had
it?
confidence. They were just like, let's wait it out, wait it out. He'll come, he'll come. They weren't too worried about Chelsea. Didn't believe that they were even that interested in him. But so I'm not sure whether it's just Chelsea feeling the need to sign somebody or whether they really feel that they need Frankie de Jong. I mean, at the moment, there doesn't seem to be a spot for him. They've still got Kante. They've still got Jorginho. One of those was expected to leave this summer. Maybe a Frankie transfer would open the door for one of those to actually go. Like I'd been told at the start of the summer probably would happen. It's an interesting one. I wanted to see him at United. I wanted to see him under Ten Hag, and I wanted to see if Man United could actually transform into a good team. It'd be a killer for them if he actually went and joined Chelsea. Really would.
Yeah, I would love that. Not just because I love De Jong, but just the getting over one on United is always good.
Yeah.
We did it. I remember years ago we did it with Mikel. Mikel was shoo-in for United, and look, he didn't turn out to be an amazing player or anything, but he did win a Champions League with us, playing centre back, I think. Nuclear Atoms. Who's going to play right wing at Chelsea? Right wing. When we say right wing in the Chelsea system, it's right wing back, right? So. Okay, no, you're thinking of a front three.
Bring a right-sided forward, yeah.
Well, that's going to be Mount because Sterling on the left, Havertz as the 9.
Well, that's it. It's not really a right winger, is it?
Inside forwards.
It's an inside forward, and you're gonna have start the season with Havertz as that central figure, and Sterling and Mount just playing off of him basically. But they won't be wide because those channels are left, as you say, for the wing backs to fulfil their roles and bomb down there, while Sterling and Mount get that ability to drift around those nice areas and try and get in behind too.
Yeah. Hudson-Odoi has had a couple of games this season at right wing back Nuclear in the Reece James role, and he's looked very good. So again, like maybe he'll get some minutes there. But guys, loads of FPL questions in the chat as well. We'll answer a couple more before we show Dean's team. Then we're going to be showing my team. Then we've got Against the Obvious. Loads happening before 8 o'clock. Stay with us. Isaac asking, what do we think about the forward partnership of Kane and Darwin?
I haven't really seen anyone do that.
I
haven't seen that very often in any drafts that I've checked out elsewhere. It's an interesting one. Obviously, I'm very unconvinced about Nunez at this point in time, so I wouldn't personally be picking him. How much is Nunez?
He's 9. He's 9. So it means more than Gabriel Jesus, who seems like a very safe bet.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's a gamble. Listen, if you want to have a differential who could genuinely bang against Fulham first game of the season, then fair play.
I think he'll start, Dean. Will it be Bobby Firmino? That's my concern with Darwin, is he gets 30. But even if he gets 30, he can still get points. Yeah. But Bobby started the Community Shield.
He did, yeah. It depends which way Klopp looks at it. I mean, the thing is, Firmino was playing against Man City. This is against Fulham. So you're talking about playing against the champions of the Premier League or the champions of the Championship. Like, there's a big difference there. And if you want to give Darwin some confidence, probably these are the sorts of games you do want to do it in. So, it's up in the air, but it wouldn't surprise me if Darwin did start.
Yeah. Nathan Smith wants to know about Issa Diop. We get this question every time. There's obviously a lot of Fulham fans watching. Issa Diop.
Not quite there yet. Not quite reached that trigger figure. 20 million West Ham want. Fulham haven't quite got there. They're getting closer, I'm told. I'm not sure what that number is, but I was told today that like they aren't too far away from getting there now. I mean, basically what we're trying to say is they're getting more and more desperate as the weeks go by, and there aren't that many centre-backs of his quality that you can go out and sign. And I think that is probably the biggest issue for Fulham at the moment. I'm gutted we haven't got someone in by now. I really am, because it's just a bad place to be when you're playing Liverpool.
Lewis has asked about Reece James. And Lewis, my news on Reece James is the Cucurella signing is very good for Reece James still, because that Cucurella can play left centre-back, and I think will a lot. We'll see Chilwell left wing-back, Cucurella left centre-back a lot. And he did at Brighton. We forget. At Brighton, he wasn't always at wing-back or full-back. He actually sometimes played in the back three. He's very capable. That allows Koulibaly to then play right centre-back, because pre-season, we've seen Koulibaly playing both left and right centre-back. With that, Reece James is then free to play right wing-back. I don't think it's ideal for Azpilicueta to be and Reece James to be playing and sharing that position, but Koulibaly in that role definitely works. So, yeah, I think we're fine. James is a wing-back. Possibly plays centre-back in the occasional fixture against Leicester in game week 4, because he's done that before against Vardy. Tuchel likes matching him with Vardy. Possibly against Spurs for the Son counter. But, yeah, more often than not, it'll be a right wing-back for sure.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Guys, we're very keen to show teams. What I haven't asked you guys to do tonight, and you know what's coming here, give us a thumbs up. Only 16 of you. Please hit that like button, team. We want to be seen by more people, and hitting the like button and of course subscribing helps that. But now let's check out. We've teased them enough. Our team reveals. Here we go, Dean. I didn't mention we're not doing a Friday stream because of the Friday deadline. This is the replacement for it. So this is the last time to see our teams in the respect of what we're talking about. There could be a few changes in the next 48 hours, but we're both pretty happy, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. It's changed a little bit since last time we showed my team. I think I did one reveal before now, and it's changed a bit since then. Probably the main one is that I've switched Haaland for Kane. We'll talk about Haaland a bit more later in the show, so I'm not going to go massively into that right now. But Kane looks sharp, looks trim, looks in form, decent first fixture at home to Southampton. So, yeah, I've gone with Harry Kane. I think that my biggest concern probably about this team is the two players that are lined up in centre midfield here, Aaronson and Grealish. They're probably... they could go either way. They really could. They could flop. They could fire first week. I mean, Brendan Aaronson has looked really good in pre-season for Leeds, and I haven't seen many people picking him. So I was like, before now, I had Leon Bailey, like everybody else has Leon Bailey. There's a small chance I still flip back to that, but I'm bored of it. I don't want to have the same player that everyone like. Leon Bailey, I don't think he's going to go and score a hat trick, so I don't feel I'm going to miss out on that much if I haven't got him. Yeah. Whereas if he doesn't carry on his pre-season form, which with Leon Bailey, there's a fair chance that happens. He's quite a flaky player.
It was a hamstring game week 2, probably.
Yeah, traditionally, like this guy is hot and cold. And Aaronson is such a key part. He presses high up and stuff and makes things happen for Leeds. Could be key. And Grealish is kind of there because I haven't got Haaland, to be honest. Like I think big season for Grealish. He will thrive. He should thrive anyway off of playing with a 9. He missed that last season. Yeah. Like he wants somebody to have there who he can drift balls into, smash balls into, play off of, go beyond. I think this could be a good time for Grealish. I'd have gone to Foden if I could have got there. I'm $1 million short at the moment. Not sure I can claw back $1 million if I'm going to keep this sort of team. It's tough. I could drop Melia down to a 4 and get back 0.5, but I don't know if I could drag out another $1 million from it. I guess Saka to Martinelli would open it up, but I don't want to do that. I've set myself in the Saka camp now. I'm not going back to Martinelli, and I'm sticking with that. Eddie says, will Foden start for City? Is he worth getting? Look, Foden's going to start most games for Man City. Like, I know he only... in pre-season has been a bit tricky. He didn't go on the tour and stuff, but I'd be surprised if Phil Foden didn't start. And if he doesn't, he'll still come on and he'll still look to be one of the most dangerous players in this league. So, yeah, I think Foden is still a better pick than Grealish if you can get there. But yeah, generally, look, I'm happy. And I think that Mo Salah, captain, if you haven't got Mo Salah, anyone, like, I think it's a massive gamble. Looking at the stats, Mo Salah, in his last 5 season openers for Liverpool, has scored. He got a hat-trick in one of those against Leeds. I looked back even beyond that. Roma, before he came to Liverpool, season opener, scored. Like, seems that Mo Salah loves a curtain raiser. Like, loves it. So, against Fulham, my team, who I've seen defend, it's not good. Like I'm not going to Craven Cottage at the weekend expecting to see a Fulham win. It's literally hope. And look, I'll take it. If Mo Salah gets 0 points at the weekend, I don't even care because it means Fulham might have actually got a result of some sort against Liverpool. So it's win-win for me. I don't care about fantasy enough to have him scoring hat-tricks against my own team while I'm sat there in the stadium watching him get them. Afraid I can't do that. It's Fulham before fantasy for me.
That's fair enough. Look, you're getting some good ratings, Dean. CH has given you an 8.9 out of 10. Guys, give your rating.
People were hating me on the last draft, so this has gone up.
Yeah, people are feeling. I mean, 9.5 from Lewis. That's Leo is good with an 8. There was 1.7 in there. 8.5 from 1974 due to the Grealish pick. Otherwise, it'd be higher. So yeah, some good. I think you're going to get a higher average rating than me. Actually, mine's a little bit controversial. We're going to see that in 5 minutes' time, but. Let's go to some of these players.
Yeah.
Aaronson, like, sea of green for fixtures. I love that pick, and I think Melier is the best 4.5 option. But one guy neither of us have got is that third Liverpool asset. We've both neglected Robertson, Diaz, Darwin. It's just money, isn't it? We just can't have them all, and it's finances. If you're going Luis Diaz, you can't go Saka. If you go Robertson, you need to make some big adjustments to that back line. So I guess that's the compromise. Are you worried about not having a third Liverpool asset, knowing it's Fulham, Palace, United, and then it's still green fixtures?
Not really. I mean, Diaz is probably the only one I'd have gone. And if I was going to do that, I'd have had to get rid of Saka. And I've got Saka in there for the Jesus combination, because if those two fire on the opening day, if Arsenal do anything, I'm expecting it to be these two that show up. So I don't want to lose Saka at this point. So not too worried about Diaz, as I say. Like, and I see a few people saying it, like Grealish is really the gamble here because it's 7 million, and also he hasn't been in most of my drafts. Like, this is the first time really Grealish has been in my team in the last few days. So it is a gamble. There's not really that many sevens around that are tempting me either. So it's a tricky one. Thanks, Graham, for the 8 out of 10 rating. Did you know last time Fulham were in the Premier League, they were unbeaten against Liverpool?
What?
We were rubbish that season.
I'm shocked at that.
We were rubbish that season.
Liverpool are still good then. Now still under Klopp as well. Like, that's a good Liverpool. That's the Mo Salah Liverpool team. Yeah,
we drew 1-1 at home and we won 1-0 at Anfield. So don't write us off, people. Don't write us off.
4 points off Liverpool. That is quite something.
Yeah, that's about the only 4 points we got all season too, which isn't great.
FPL Harry, I saw your tweet earlier and I thought it was a clickbait tweet because he tweeted a picture of Martinelli, Saka and Jesus. Triple Arsenal attack. I know you say you have triple Arsenal attack, Harry, but will you have triple Arsenal attack on Friday? I don't think so. I mean, maybe you will. I haven't heard your justification for it. And look, it's not a bad tack at all. But I also know you've had 1,000 drafts, and I question it. So yeah, let us know if you think you're going to go with that, Harry. Give us a percentage rating of the likelihood of going triple Arsenal attack.
Do you know what? I saw a stat that Arsenal have had more players sent off on the first day of the Premier League season than any other team have had.
Oh, God.
That would be so Arsenal too, wouldn't it?
Yeah, down to 10 men after half an hour or something. And
like Jesus lunges for a ball and like gets sent off. Like, that is like
Vieira
disaster.
giving it the big.
I mean, the community is going to break down if Jesus gets a red card because he just made a silly late tackle, like just out of excitement or something, you know. But that is a stat. Arsenal do have more red cards than anyone else on this first day. So, I'm
the dude has nailed it. It's okay to have one gamble to start with, and that's very much where I was thinking with Darwin Núñez. I was very keen on Darwin as a punt. Now, my methodology has changed slightly, and I'll talk more about that in 5 minutes when we see my team. But let's go to Oxlane. Time to coincidence with Black Box for a bumping out of FPL content. Well organised, Gianni. Rev season starting now. Enough planning. Is Black Box on tonight? I know Mark's not doing it, so maybe it's not on, or maybe they have found someone to step in. But I spoke to Baz earlier, and I don't think Mark's around tonight. I'm 80% on the triple up. Best opening run of any team, correct. They're all the best at their price points. Hard to argue with that. Martinelli is definitely the best 6 mid. Jesus is definitely the best forward in that price point. I'm not entirely convinced on Saka being the best 8 mid. And Harry's right to look at these players in their own individual right. But Dean, you do. You clearly think Saka at 8 million is the pick. I prefer Mount and Luis Diaz to Saka, I think. But you're very much team Saka.
I'm very much team Saka. I am. I think he's one of the first names on that team sheet. I don't see him losing his place in the side. I think that Martinelli will be dragged more often before Saka would be, I think, to give somebody else that spot. I just think that Saka is the safer bet for me, and I think that he's also a better player for me. As I say, like, one of the reasons I know you've explained that Arsenal's penalty philosophy seems to be that whoever wins the pen takes the pen generally. So that might be the case. But the fact that
that's not fact either.
It's not fact. We don't know that's fact yet. But the fact that Saka did take the pen last weekend when they played Sevilla, again, another reason for me to edge towards him, because Arsenal are going to get pens and it's going to be him or Jesus for me. So hopefully I've got the pen taker. If it's not the guy that wins it, takes it. So yeah, it's mad. Jack, thoughts on Kulusevski as your first choice? It will be this week. There's no Richarlison for Everton. For Tottenham. He's suspended. Kulusevski was actually in my draft at one point. He's in it for a while actually, because I felt, well, that was actually before I had Kane. Actually, before I had Kane, I had Kulusevski. And I was like, what's the point? I'm just putting Kulusevski here in hope that he's working with Kane, and he's not the guy that works with Kane. It's Son. So ditched that theory, got rid of him, and just actually got Kane. And the thing is with Kane, like, I can flip to Haaland second week if I need to. Mount got half his goals against Norwich and Southampton. Mount doesn't tick over enough.
He's been Chelsea's best player pre-season, by the way. I'm the dude.
I think Mount could have a great season. I really do. He's proper established now in this league, Mason Mount. I think that he'll be overlooked by a lot of people, probably including me, a lot of the time. He's a difficult one to pick, I think, in FPL. But, you know, this season, particularly the start of the season, Chelsea's so short of options, looking for inspiration. They're going to go to tried and tested players to just play in a certain way, and Mason Mount could be a really good get. So part of me tried to get him in. It just didn't work out.
Yeah.
I wish he was 7 so I could get him instead of Grealish.
Fair enough. Aronson over Neto. Yeah, I mean, Wolves, you're a bit like me on Wolves, aren't you, Dean? I've heard you on Ranks FC. They could be in a little bit of trouble this season, do you think?
I'm not touching him. I
Yeah.
really don't know what we're getting out of Wolves. You know, it's the first game of the season, away to Leeds, who were trying to be a completely different side from the one we all saw last season. There's a stat: Wolves have only lost their first Premier League match in one of the last 6 seasons, so that's reason to believe in them. What I would argue against that is that this is not the same Wolves as the last, well, maybe not 6 seasons, but the last few seasons certainly, and they've got a few holes in there that I am slightly concerned about. Neto. I know loads of people have got Neto. Haven't considered
him. 30% or something crazy.
I have not considered him. I can't. I'm not jumping on a bandwagon that I've barely seen, so I can't do it.
Yeah. Good stuff. I think it might. Well, let's just talk about the breaking news of Cucurella's had a here we go. Chelsea, you've said as much, Dean, and yeah, that's happening. So 50 million, and you're right. Colwell looks like he'll be on the way to Brighton as well. It's a shame Chelsea letting another homegrown centre back. They've let Gay go to Palace. They've let Tomori go to Italy, and now again another one the fans really wanted to see in a blue shirt is off as well. Yet the weakest of them all, Chalobah, has stayed.
Yeah, I think Colwell will have he'll have a buyback included in it. I think it won't be necessarily like a swap or whatever. Probably be a separate deal. But it's a strange transfer for me. Like I don't totally understand the reasoning behind getting Cucurella. It'll be interesting to see where he does actually play. But as you said before, like this surely helps us with the Reece James conundrum now. And I've got Reece James in my team at the moment. I am pretty certain he's playing right wing back. I'm hoping he plays at right wing back. One of the only Chelsea players, to be honest, I would trust at the moment to perform, even if Chelsea aren't. Like, I think that Reece James has that ability to come up with points. Yeah. So that's why I've got him. Look, a lot of everyone was saying from my first draft, you're too top heavy. You haven't. This is a season that's all about defenders. I know. We'll see about that in a minute, won't we? So I did take that on board, and I thought actually they might be right. Maybe a safer bet is to get on some of these defenders. So that's when I wedged a couple more in. But are we ready to see yours yet? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think so. Let's show it. I know the word that's going to come up in the chat. Everyone is going to tell me it's too top heavy, and it's not. They're going to use this buzzword, which grinds me, flexible. Go on, all tell me it's not flexible enough. You can't move easily between.
I am surprised, mate. When you sent this through on our group earlier, I was very surprised to see the U-turn in your thinking, because you were the ones that said, one of the ones that said, like, looks like a season when it's big at the back, blah blah blah, and I was like, okay, I'll take all this into account. And I look at your team, and you've gone the biggest 4.0 defenders. You've got 2.40s playing, and you've got Haaland, Jesus, and Harry Kane. Look, nobody can knock it. Like Haaland, Kane, and Jesus could be the best, most straightforward, simple idea when it comes to FPL anyone's ever had. That's the thing. We can overthink these things, right?
Yeah.
You've got 3 of the most likely Premier League goal scorers of the weekend. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
They could all get hat-trick.
Yeah, and it's same for game week 2, same for game week 3. Like these 3 aren't going anywhere. They're reliable as we should see. Thanks, Mohammed. So yeah, it was like I couldn't have Haaland, Kane, and Salah and happily have a draft with a 4.5 goalkeeper in there. And I had 4.5 keeper, and I had Darwin Núñez, and I think I had Reece James. Or no, I had Doherty next to Perisic. So I had 2 Spurs fullbacks, which I really like. But I realised when I went down to 8 million in my goalkeeper spend, I could stretch to Haaland instead of Darwin. So it's literally a straight swap between Haaland and Darwin. And the only compromise there is the keepers, not much between it. And then it's Patson comes in for Doherty, which means Nico Williams then plays. So it is a compromise, but to get Haaland and Kane and not give me that dilemma every week, do I want to transfer from one to the other and use valuable transfers, which are 4 points every time you use them, even when they're not 4-point hits? You end up using hits further down the line, and therefore that transfer, if you go back, could have cost you 4. So I see every transfer as 4 points. And I was so torn on Kane, Haaland. I don't want the headache. Just get both in. Get both in, not have to rip up my team too much. The only compromise is Darwin, Doherty out, Haaland and Patterson in. I think I'm all right with that. Keepers are rubbish anyway at 4.5. So at 4.0, it's, taking a chance.
No, that's true. Nuclear, no 8 million mid.
I love Nuclear. Oh, that is brilliant. Oh, thanks, FPL Spartans. And yeah, if I want an 8 million midfielder by game week 3 without taking hits, I can have them. Haaland or Kane come down to the most in-demand mid-price forward there is, Callum Wilson or whoever the bandwagon will be. And I upgrade Gilmore to Luis Diaz or Mason Mount. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, how do you think
player is reachable?
If Haaland doesn't score, how do you think you feel?
Yeah, I will be gutted, but as long as he scores against Bournemouth, I'm happy.
I'm going to say, do you think you'll definitely keep him for the first 2 weeks?
I'll ride it out.
Yeah, and then
I think I'd keep him till the Champions League starts, mate. I think I'll keep him till game week 5. It's only when the champ starts, game week 6, I think it is, that I'll be slightly worried about the likes of Haaland, because I'll be thinking, is Pep gonna rest him for an easy Premier League game? But until then, I think he wants him up and running for the champs. I think we'll see a lot of 70, 80, 90-minute performances, because it's only one game a week. That's the beauty. The first 5-6 weeks, for the only time in the season, Man City are playing once a week.
Yeah. Do you know what he's got on his first day of last season? Dortmund. 2 goals, 2 assists.
Oh, get on. Get on. That's what I want to hear.
He's got 7 goal contributions from his last 3 years in the opening day. I know it's not the same league, but he's the sort of player that does, he likes to make an early impact, doesn't he? He likes to let people know he's around, and it's a risk not to have him. There's no doubt about it. It's an interesting pick, but anyone else that caused you any headaches here? I mean, obviously you've got obvious ones like Trent and Cancelo and stuff. I mean, Leon Bailey was just a no-brainer at this point at 5.
Yeah, I think so. I have to have a 4.0 and a 5.0 in my starting 11, which isn't ideal. Bailey, after a week, could be very easily dropped by Gerrard. He definitely starts the Bournemouth game. If he plays badly, he's the first player out the team because he's on the fringes of the 11. So then what do? You're relying on Andreas to play or Patterson to play. It's not ideal. Same again, like Nico Williams. But Nico Williams and Andreas Pereira rotate fairly well. Again, Patterson has a fair few green fixtures coming up. He's playing wing back. So it's the cheapest possible enablers. Very few squads have 2 4.0, well, 4 4.0 players if you include the goalkeepers. But yeah, I might be relying on the bench a little bit, which doesn't sit too well with me. So that's definitely a compromise. I also love the idea of having double Spurs fullbacks, because I genuinely think Doherty is a really good option for 60 minutes. I think he'll get hooked a lot after 60, but Doherty and Perisic both play that forwards, and Doherty's 1% owned. So yeah, it's a shame I can't stretch that far, but to have Haaland and Kane, which means I sleep easy at night, I'm willing to go there.
Gianni sold Reece all month and he's not in his draft, Punter says.
Yeah, and now Cucurella's deal. When I saw the Cucurella news a couple of days ago, we knew that was likely to happen. I was like, this makes Reece
will Cucurella play against Everton?
No,
that's
not game
one
week
thing.
one,
He's not going to
surely.
play game week 1. So, like me saying, "Oh, that's good news." Reece James, I still think Reece James will play wing back, but yeah, he's not going to. That specific decision isn't going to impact week 1, is it? So,
Yeah.
you can't give me lemon and herb. Doesn't matter what team I
Thank you,
pick. No
Spartans.
one ever rates it. I could have picked this team and everyone would have slated it.
Guys, in 10 minutes time before we go to the Q&A, we'll show Dean's team again, but for the time being we'll stick on mine, because for those that are just joining, and look, great to see so many of you are joining. Thank you guys for watching. If you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're going to do these shows every Monday and Friday at 7 p.m. Today's a little bit different. We're doing a Wednesday because we're not around on Friday, but Mondays, Fridays, 7 p.m. subscribe to the channel. And also, if you like my team, all I need just to show me, give us a thumbs up. Continue speaking in the chat, but hit that like button as well. Stain, double 4.0 defense isn't ideal. You're quite right. It's far from ideal, but they are both starters and they're both playing wing back. Like Everton have been playing a back 5 in pre-season. Have you considered Perisic to Doherty and then upgrade 4.0 to 4.5? It's worth consideration. I just think Perisic is going to be dynamite. Like, so much better than Doherty, therefore he's worth the extra 0.5. I am a little bit worried over his fitness, but the fact he got 70 minutes against Roma, I saw Conte's comments and they weren't brilliant, but I think Conte is trying to manage expectations from the fans. He often plays things down, Conte. I think Perisic will start, and I wouldn't be surprised against Southampton for attacking returns.
I do think he'll play. I spoke to, I don't know if I mentioned this in the last show, I spoke to somebody that is in with Spurs, and I was trying to get some team news off him, basically. I was like, will Doherty start? Like, who plays left side of defence? And he said, expects Doherty to start.
Nice.
He thinks Ben Davis will start left side of centre backs.
Yeah.
He said, I think the only new signing we will see is Perisic.
So Basuma probably benched as well. It'll be Højbjerg and Bentancur.
Yeah. Perisic, what was the stat? Hang on, I've got this written down. You'll like this. This will help you.
Oh, yeah, I need some confirmation
Perisic
bias.
was involved in 9 goals in his last 10 games for Inter Milan at the end of last season. Like, that's the player that Conte is looking to unleash. Like, that's why he's here. I have to admit, like, of all the signings, like, I think it's been a little bit overcooked, like the Tottenham 6. They're not all that exciting. Perisic for me is the most exciting.
Yeah. I think, I'm with you there. Despite his age, this guy is still an incredible athlete. He's durable. He's super fit. He both-footed. The fact he can go out on the left foot and still hang one up at the back stick for Harry Kane, or he can turn inside and shoot. Like, very few wing backs have the assist and goal threat combined. Most have one or the other. Perisic is brilliant in front of goal too. I think he scored. Did he score against England in a World Cup semi-final? I think he did. Yeah,
I think he did.
And I'm sure he scored like Champions League final. Got he's big game player too. James to Doherty saves you $1 million, and then you can go Neto to Rashford. I don't mind that nuisance. I don't mind that at all, to be fair. Rashford, I don't mind having a bit of skin in that United attack, to be fair, for the first few fixtures.
Yeah. I mean,
short term.
It's a bit hit and miss, the Rashford thing. Like, he started the last friendly I watched against Atleti. He started really well and amazing little bit of trickery and got his shot away early. And I was like, oh, this looks good. Like, Rashford's got his confidence back again. Didn't see that much of that again throughout the rest of his time on the pitch. They massively missed Sancho when he wasn't out there. So hopefully for their sake, they've got Sancho back for that game.
Yeah.
I did have Rashford in at one point, but I was like, no, this is a gamble.
Yeah, me too. I had Rashford in. I think it was off the back of a good performance. But I think the appeal of Rashford is he's so well priced for what you're getting, and that's a guy playing in the front three of a United attack that should.
And last season, I think, was a one-off with him. He's such a good player that I don't think he'll be that bad again. I think he was physically done, mentally drained. Everything took its toll on him, I think, and they've tried to rebuild him, and it looks like they're doing a decent job of that. Cool.
Couple more comments, guys. Then we're going to show Dean's team. Please hit the like button. I know there's loads of you watching. Come on, hit the like button and subscribe. And look, guys, this stream is all about you. We want to answer your questions. And coming up in like 10 minutes time, 5 minutes time, we've got a dedicated 15 minutes Q&A. So we're going to be answering all your questions. Could there be a huge upside in betting against Gabriel Jesus? I have never seen an asset going into game week 1 at anywhere near 72% owned. Anywhere near, I think he might be 74 now. We wrote these graphics 6 hours ago and he's already higher. You'd be silly to bet against him, in my opinion, unless you don't rate him. But if you're doing it just because of being differential, that's a little bit bold. He is so highly owned.
Yeah, massive risk. I mean, he genuinely has taken to this team and the formation, the style, and his role so well. Like, they got him in so early that he's been there since day one of preseason, pretty much. Like, just bang on it, looking to show everybody that he's a 9. He's a goal scorer. He can lead a team. He's loving it. And he's lived up to everything so far. You watch the confidence of his finishing in preseason, the different types of finishes. Very, very brave person not to have him in their team at the start of the season.
Yeah. Sam Arth is having no Chelsea cover scary. A little bit, but they haven't been great preseason. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin, by the way, is injured. He's out. The main Everton goal threat was Richarlison. He's been sold. Calvert-Lewin, he's been injured. I think a Chelsea clean sheet does look quite likely. Cucurella has just been confirmed by, So, they are defensively stronger. It's fair. But you can't have them all. And I think the upside with Perisic is even greater than Reece James. And that takes some saying for me because I love Reece. Bernardo, with Cucurella not going to Man City, has Walker become a better option at 5.0? My problem with Kyle Walker, Bernardo, is it's very much a 6-point ceiling with him. You're not going to get goals. You're not going to get assists. When you look at Doherty, when you look at Dean, when you look at Trippier, these guys get goals and assists. Now, because of that, they do better in the bonus point system as well. However, the clean sheet is less likely. So if you want a safe bet at 5.0, Kyle Walker's a great shout. If they do sign a left back, he's potentially can sell him as right back and his places at threat. But for the time being, Walker is a nice, steady pair of hands. But I like upside players, not safety, especially on differential picks. Like Walker's not highly owned. Therefore, I prefer Dean, Trippier, and Doherty to your boy Walker. This one's for you, Dean, about Vardy. Should we be looking at Vardy?
I mean, we probably should a bit. I mean, Leicester are obviously not in a great place right now.
What's going on?
What is
going on? They're selling all the best players.
They're in a tricky situation financially. They were supposed to have a mini overhaul of this team and the squad over the summer. They've signed no one. 4 or 5 of their players are being chased. Kasper Schmeichel's already gone. As we've talked about in here before, Jamie Vardy, there's a small possibility he might even end up going, but he will start, obviously, first game of the season. Vardy is, when he's fit, very, very sharp off the mark. He scored 7 goals on the opening weekend of the Premier League. There's a stat. Let me just dig this out. His 7 goals.
These numbers today, Dean. You've been doing your research today.
Yeah, I had a doc come through earlier. I was like, I'm going to nick a few of these quickly. Its 7 goals account for 47% of Leicester's total match day 1 since their return to the Premier League. So basically 50% of Leicester's goals since they have been in the Premier League on the first day of the season have been scored by Jamie Vardy. So we probably are overlooking him. He's always a good FPL asset when he's actually fit. So presuming that's the case, you could get on him, but he's also not cheap. And at the moment, I think he's a bit of a risk. Because I think that there's something's going on behind the scenes of his contract, I believe. There's been all the publicity around his wife's court case, which we don't really talk about in football circles because it doesn't seem that relevant, but it might well be, this is the huge part of their life right now. And the fact that, Leicester just don't look in a good place generally, it's why nobody's really picking him, I imagine. Go for it, Tiffany. If you fancy a bit of a differential, then probably score.
Yeah. Guys, I forgot we have got something called Against the Obvious coming up in today's stream. So we're going to do that in literally 30 seconds time. But first, we're just going to flash up Dean's team for those that were late. So Dean's gone. He's gone double City. He's gone double Liverpool. He's got double Arsenal attack. He's got a few differentials in there like Aronson, Trippier, great 5.0 asset. He's back in Meslier as the best 4.5 keeper. I'm the same. But let's move on to something you guys may not have seen before. You're going to love this. Stay tuned for Against the Obvious. I love it. We pick a popular asset and give you 60 seconds worth of reasons why not to pick him. Dean, you're up first. What are we thinking?
Okay, well, I actually haven't picked Erling Haaland, so I have to give this a pretty good argument. He was in my team all along. I watched the Community Shield. I didn't drop him because of the miss, but I didn't feel that he was as much of a necessity as I otherwise might have if he had been bang on it and scored 2 in that match. Coming out of last season, Haaland had troubles with injury. He didn't have a fully consistent season. He hasn't had that much time to gel with this Man City team. And I just feel that there's always a risk in having too many players that are new signings, particularly if they're new to the league. And I think that when you go through your team, you can have 1, maybe 2 players that are new. But for me, Haaland, if you've got a tried and tested player like Kane and you're going one or the other, I think you go with Kane because you've seen it. You've seen him do it many, many times before. Haaland, we haven't seen it yet. West Ham's not the easiest fixture in the world. I think you can afford to leave him out the first day.
Love that. Love that. Love that. Guys, if you like what you heard there, you like this feature against the obvious, give us the thumbs up. That will be an indicator as to if you want this to be a permanent fixture for our streams all season. So look, we picked a big boy in Haaland. It's going to be, it's difficult to top that with his ownership at 47, but I'm going to give you 60 seconds worth of reasons why you shouldn't pick Heung-min Son. Now, this is a guy that was like, probably the best player in the game last season, pound for pound. He's had a massive, massive price rise. So much so that he is more expensive than the likes of Haaland and Kane up front. Yes, he's still listed as a midfielder. Yes, he gets an extra point for a clean sheet and point for a goal. Is he going to go and do what he did last year? Is he going to go and outscore Kane? I don't think he will. And look, Spurs look good. He's had a good pre-season. Sonny's not a bad pick by any stretch, but Kane's just as good a pick, if not a better pick. And that's at the same price point. Then you factor in that he's 12 and Kane's 11.5. It's 11.5 Kane all day long for me. You get the penalty appeal. In terms of pre-season sharpness as well, it's Kane that looks a little bit fitter than Son. And we don't often say that. So for me, you go Kane, who's going to get 90. Son will often come off at 80, 70 minutes sometimes because of Richarlison. Kane is your 90-minute man. And you're definitely not going both. You've got to spread those funds a little bit. There's too many other good attackers in the game.
Yeah, no, you're right. Look, the other thing I keep trying to remind myself is that Son has been overperforming and Kane has been underperforming.
Yeah. XG tells us that.
XG tells us that. Like everything tells us that. And like maybe that's what Son is. Maybe he does it again this season. Okay, he's not overachieving. This is just who he is, and you can disregard all that stuff. Yeah. But I don't think Son will get the same numbers. Dean, you should have mentioned the Werner example to make your case even more. That is actually a really good point. Thanks, Nuclear. Yeah,
and Sancho.
That's true. I mean, I still think that Haaland's a better bet for success than Werner was, though. And in this team, like Pep doesn't make that many mistakes. Of this level, he's waited a long time. He's wanted a 9 for so long. Feels that he can he's obviously got a plan for a 9 to carry out. Yeah. That he wants to. There's going to be something different about Man City because he wanted Harry Kane to do something, and now he wants Haaland to do something. He's obviously got something specifically in mind that a 9 can do that other false 9s can't quite do. So yeah. I think that there might be something special coming. Might not be from game week 1 though, so it might be a few weeks. And Haaland's going to find it difficult to get up to speed. Like, we both heard from a guy the other day that we know and work with who said he was at the Community Shield and Haaland didn't look fully up to speed. Didn't look, like the mean monster and the machine that we know he is. Yeah. And look, maybe he was just going through the motions because it's the Community Shield, but Darwin Núñez wasn't. We'll wait and see. We won't know until this weekend, and that's why it's so exciting. And while some of us will be left with our heads in our hands when Haaland backs his hat-trick.
What's your take on Guardiola and the 9, Dean? I want to push you a bit further on that because it's a really interesting point. Like, Guardiola is the guy that was playing Cesc Fabregas as a false 9 at Barca, Messi in the 9. He then had Zlatan at Barca. Things didn't work. That was his big first forward that was kind of a big name signing. At PSG, he did have Lewandowski, which obviously worked. He didn't really take straight away to Aguero, who's not the same sort of 9 as a Lewandowski and Ibra and a Haaland. So you're right, though. He went after Kane, didn't get him. He's gone after Haaland. He's clearly looking for that focal point. So that does make you question the style that he wants from his team. He doesn't want to play Foden false nine, or he wouldn't have gone for Haaland. He wants that focal point, doesn't he?
Yeah, look, he said the other day, I was watching an interview with him in the build up to the season, and he said, I can't get Erling Haaland scoring goals. He will do that himself. All of his goal scoring instinct comes from his mum and dad. That is born into this guy, and that is done. My job is to come up with the perfect system. That means he's going to do it a lot, and that is my job, and I'm trying to work on the perfect plan to get the best out of this guy. That is my job. It's not Erling Haaland's already good enough. I just have to get the best out of him. And I think in a way, like, you go through all those players he listed, he sees it as a next challenge in his career. Like, he wants that elite striker to show that you all think you know me, you all think you know how I play, you all think you can second guess what I do. Well, actually, no, because you'll think I tinker with my team. This guy will be playing in that position every week, and you won't be able to stop him because the movement around him will be second to none. His movements will be so sharp that no matter if you're man marking him, if you think you're watching him closer than anything, he'll drop a shoulder, he'll be behind you, he'll get in front of you, he'll smash it from the edge of the box, whatever it is. This guy's going to score 20, 25 goals, and you can't stop him. Like, I think that's Guardiola's thing. Look, Man City got 99 goals in the Premier League last season without a number 9.
Yeah.
Without a number 9. They didn't have a striker. So this season, they've got the striker. And yeah, like, they've lost Sterling, who did come up with important goals, but they've got Alvarez in there too. By the way, I just saw someone knocking my background. Sorry, I don't have the space. I think, look, Gianni's there living in a mansion, lads and ladies. Like, I don't have the room with the pool table and the shirts and the smart computer that he's got. I've only got this. It's a nice kitchen I've got, but this is my best recording space at this time of day when the kids are upstairs. I've got a space upstairs, but you don't want me working in there because you'll just be hearing a lot of shouting and screaming around this time of night.
I've been in this house 2 years, and it only in the last 6 months has this room evolved. Like, my wife had ambitions for it to be like a lounge, a living space.
Okay.
And a nice computer. I wish you could see what my screen was balancing on. I've got sticky tape holding the monitor together, resting on a cardboard box. I feel like I should show you guys. I feel like I could take my camera off to give you a little sneak peek.
Oh, wow. Look
literally,
at this.
So that's tape there because I don't have the screw, and then that's on a cardboard box. It's all very blame on the light on the.
Mate, the mystique is gone.
I know. And now
I love
my framing's out.
That is proper FPL insight. You will never get that on any other show.
Yeah, love that. Good stuff, guys. So good to have so many of you in the chat. Look, give us some more likes and subscribes, and I might even show you around my pool table.
Yeah, and yes, Nuclear, it is a kitchen. There's like this is the lounge part of the kitchen. There's another part to it. Maybe on the next if you come back for the next episode, I'll show you around the kitchen. Actually,
brilliant.
No. If Haaland doesn't score at the weekend, I'll show you around my kitchen.
I love that. If Haaland doesn't score, we'll hold him to that on Monday night's episode, guys. Look, we got 12 minutes left. Let's make it all about you. So look, it's time to talk. Good stuff. Tala, great first question. We're going to go as quick as we can because we want to get through so many, but get your questions in now. We're going to use the recent questions. So, Threemium, yay or nay? I'll go for this one and Dean on the next. I mean, look, I've gone Threemium. I think the 8 million goalkeeper combination we now have presented, Iverson and Ward, allows us the extra 0.5, which might be the difference of 2 premiums and 3. So, yeah, Threemium is very possible. I'm not going to lie, I haven't seen a single content creator sold on. I haven't seen a single big name FPL content creator who has a Threemium draft they're running. They're confident that they're going to stick with. And I genuinely think I'm going to stick with mine. Is that because I want to be different and cool? Maybe. But I genuinely think it's a good move too. This one's for you, Dean.
Out. Yeah, Alan, KDB's shot accuracy is so on point. Do you not think Man City are wasting his potential by bringing in a 9? No, but you know what will happen is that KDB is going to transform to like a floating 10, I reckon, in this team. And so much attention is going to be on Erling Haaland that De Bruyne is going to get new spaces and he'll drive. Like, if you notice in the last season or so, De Bruyne more and more often is driving through those midfield and he's getting those shots away himself. And I think that one of the reasons they've got Haaland is almost like a distraction factor. And there will be games where it doesn't matter if Haaland's not getting the goals because he is taking people, probably 2 people, away from the focus of Kevin De Bruyne, who I think will actually probably end up scoring more goals now because Haaland is in the team.
Yeah, those two are going to be so good. It's a good spot. In the end of last season, KDB was in a more free role, and if you've seen it pre-season, yeah, I'm with you there. He's a great FPL asset in his own right. It's just a shame he's 12.0. It's like Son, he's more expensive than his number 9. I've
hardly seen anyone picking him.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll be like 10% owned or less, I would have thought.
Yeah, and do you know what? It's quite likely too. Like at West Ham, it's the sort of game when De Bruyne does pop up and actually score the 2 goals that get him the win.
Yeah. Sam Arth asking Martinelli and James or Trippier and Saka. That's a really good question. Dean has Trippier and Saka. I have Martinelli and did have James. So I'm going to go Martinelli, James, Dean.
Yeah, I like Trippier and Saka. I've got to say, I think that Trippier is being underbought at the moment.
Punter, talking about Everton, how many gallons of water is Lampard drinking this season? Is this a chasing green arrows joke? Because I wasn't aware of it before.
No, I think it's become I think it has become a wider thing now.
Is it?
Yeah, like it is so funny. Like every time Everton concede a goal, Lampard is downing water. Like he's just spraying it in. Like, or he'll find a bottle and he'll quickly have a drink. Like it's just his go-to thing. It's so funny how predictable Frank Lampard's life is, from his interviews, from his habits to conceding goals. Like I'd love to know like his general life. Like his missus must just like know exactly how his day is panning out before it's even happened. Like it's mad that he was as good a footballer as he was, considering like how predictable he is to read.
It was the best, mate. He was the best.
It was very good.
Great, Michael Zinchenko 5 million or cash 5 million. I like them both. I don't love either. I prefer Dean, and I do prefer Zinchenko to Gabriel, but I prefer Dean, and I definitely prefer Trippier, and I definitely prefer Doherty.
I can't wait to see Aston Villa, to see how good Matt Cash is this season. Everyone's raving about him.
Like 30% owned or something.
I don't know if I've totally missed this, or if everyone else is misseeing it. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to seeing him in this team because everyone seems to be very hot on it.
His ownership has at least dropped a bit. It's 20%. Luca Dean's 4%. Given the choice, I'm Luca Dean all day long.
That makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
Right, Flying Pigs. Thoughts on Sterling and Darwin will outscore Haaland and Diaz in the first 8 games. I mean, this is guesswork at its finest. What I would say is that Sterling is the only goal scorer we know we can depend on in the Premier League out of those lots. So I would go on the Sterling side of things because he will score the goals for Chelsea, and he's a premium talent that is just going to fit well into that team.
Yeah, I don't mind that Sterling plan, and I've seen very few drafts with Sterling, and I'm not sure. I guess I do know why. It's new club. It's 10 million. It's a huge amount of money, but both Mason
more starts
Mount
than he'd had before, though. Yeah,
6.9% owned Sterling. That's a proper differential for a proven FPL asset.
Yeah,
it'll be in our teams at some. I reckon by game week at some point we'll have all owned Sterling this season.
I think so too.
Nuisance. Would you rather have Spurs double up or one Spurs, one Chelsea defender? Well, price is an issue because if you shop at Chelsea, you're spending 6 on Reece James. If you shop at Spurs, you can get a Doherty for 5. Both playing, if we're talking attacking players. So for me, I'd save the money and go Spurs double up. Like I genuinely was on Doherty and Perisic and said they were both 99% locked until the goalkeeper news today. So I'd go double Spurs because they literally play like wide forwards. Like they're at times both more advanced than Harry Kane.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely spot on. Punter, Andreas or Murphy, a better 4.5. I mean, I'm going to be biased and say Andreas, but Andreas Pereira, look, first game week, obviously we're not expecting much, but he's going to play every week for them. We haven't got that many players. I think you're in a good place if you've got him in your squad.
Yeah, I'm with you there. In the 4.5 race, like Andreas is definitely the standout. Outside of that, De Silva's 4.5, but probably not going to be a starter. Jack Colback is 4.5, but very defensive at Nottingham Forest. If you're looking for 90-minute men, it's Colback and Andreas Pereira, kind of the only two, and even Pereira could get subbed off. I've got Gilmore in at the moment because I'm hoping he gets a loan move. Like Gilmore loan move to Everton makes him a good 4.5 option. But other than that, it's slim pickings. Like you can have Diallo, you can have Murphy's not a starter, Bernie Stretch. You can have Samari, I can never pronounce his name, at Leicester as a DM. You have Harry Winks, who might go out on loan. But yeah, I mean, what's your take on Gilmore, Dean? Do you think he could get a loan move? Because I put Gilmore in probably the best of that bracket outside of Andreas Pereira, and I need 2 4.5s in my team.
Yeah, I think he will. Yeah, I think he'll be one that goes to the back end of the window. I think the squads will settle, and then he'll be on his way. So he might yet become a really good option.
It's just annoying that back end of the window isn't till after game week 4-5, and it's like,
Yeah,
by then I might be looking to wildcard, so I may as well just go bloody Jack Colback.
Yeah, totally that.
John Cahill, how many games until Alvarez? Yeah, I mean, if Alvarez bangs, he will break the game at 6.5 million, but he's not going to be starting straight away, is he? He needs to earn that spot.
Yeah, and we've seen obviously flashes of him. I've heard, on Ranks FC, like Jack's been saying this guy is great, and I've been taking it with a pinch of salt because Jack thinks a lot of people are great that aren't as good as he thinks they are. But on this one, I think he might be onto something. I had to concede that. But yeah, and you can see like what it meant to him too in the Community Shield. He's going to take his opportunities when they do come. It just feels like a bit of a gamble to spend that much on someone in your front line from game week 1 when there are so many other options out there that are dependable.
Yep.
I'm not doing a Lampard impression.
Yeah,
I've got an England shirt on. I've got dark hair. That's about as good as you're getting from me. I won't do a Frank Lampard. I'll practice one for when they're relegated.
Did you used to play number 8 as well, Dean, when you played?
No, I was a 9, mate. I was just a goal scorer. Yeah, I just scored goals. Yeah, that's all I did.
Carlos Bambos, I got 3 Arsenal already like that. I do think triple Arsenal is definitely viable. Do you think it's worth changing Martinelli to a 5.5 to have 0.5 in the bank for potential? Depends what your plans are, Carlos. If you want to make a move from Kane to Haaland, having 0.5 in the bank isn't a bad shout. But I do prefer Martinelli is worth the extra, because Martinelli is playing in a good team in the front 3 at 6 million. When you go down to 5 or 5.5, we're picking players from very average teams that we can't really hang our hat on. We can't predict that they're going to very likely bang. Martinelli is in a team that we know will score goals.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's true. Yeah. Khalid, targeting teams playing Bournemouth after Scott Parker's comments regarding lack of signings and short in many positions. I haven't seen those specific quotes from Scott Parker, but I have watched a lot of Scott Parker's football. And look, I actually supported him at Fulham because, I usually do support the manager, to be honest. And I thought Scott Parker did a pretty decent job for us overall in hard conditions with our board and didn't probably get the backing he needed. There's no denying the fact that he's very defense minded. He's very cagey. He doesn't gamble. And a lot of the time you look like you're going to get through a game. You get to the 75-minute mark, 80-minute mark, and then there's an error. You concede a goal. You've lost because you haven't got time to turn it around. Bournemouth have not signed particularly well, even the ones they are getting through the door. They weren't that good in the Championship anyway, to be honest. For the Championship, yeah, of course they were right up there. But when Fulham were playing Bournemouth, I wasn't particularly worried about it. They weren't that good a team. Solanke stood out obviously, but I don't think he'll even stand out in the Premier League. I think targeting Bournemouth is not a bad approach to have. To be honest, you can target Fulham as well at this point.
Yeah, Samarth thinking is Dreamium a bit scary. Consensus in communities, you only need to captain one of these players, so do you need 3 reliable assets? Yeah, I'm not scared by it at all. You are right that it's different. I like that. I think Threemium. I think I'm set on Threemium. To be fair, I need some press conference news to say one of these guys was injured. I want Haaland, I want Kane, I want Salah, and we've been blessed that there are some very good cheap assets in this game that have been potentially underpriced. Your Martinellis, your Baileys, your Perisic's even. Perisic, I think will become a 7.0 defender. Cristiano Ronaldo, this might be the last question. Thoughts on Ronaldo? I mean, he doesn't seem to have a suitor. He walked out at half time. Martial is definitely starting game week 1, probably 2 and 3 as well, right, Dean?
Yeah, I mean, there doesn't seem to be any way into this United team. I say, barring, Martial picks up a bug tomorrow and he's ruled out for that fixture, and somehow Ronaldo gets wedged in there. Ronaldo is mad. Like, we're now into a new season. Ronaldo's 4% owned going into a new season at 10.5 million. That is pretty crazy, considering he's not actually like injured, but his opportunities are going to be limited. There's been the stories that, and Ten Hag himself gave quotes, I think it was in the Dutch press, that he was not happy with players leaving that game early. I don't think it was just Ronaldo. He's looking to have a ruthless style of management. He doesn't want Ronaldo thinking he's bigger than the club. Based on all of this and the fact that Ronaldo's only been training for a week, I just don't see that Ronaldo can start soon.
Yeah. Cheeky Naz, this will be the last one. I'll keep it very short. I'd go for the Cancelo option. Like, there are 3 essential picks in this game that I think have to be in everyone's team. And that is Trent, that is Cancelo, and that is Salah. They are the 3 locks for me. And every draft I've done, they're like the 3 non-negotiables. So yeah, your Cancelo draft for me. Guys, thank you so much for watching tonight. It's been awesome. We do these on Mondays and Fridays usually. So if you're new around here and you're only watching because it's Wednesday nights, your YouTube night or whatever, Mondays and Fridays at 7, like, make an effort to watch us, because we like to do things a little bit different on FPL Insight. We are all about you guys. You will notice the majority of our stream is answering your questions. Our streams are always only an hour. We answer your questions. We also show our teams. And if you want to rewind because you've only just joined, you can go back today and see lots of transfer talk. You can see an awesome feature called Against the Obvious, where we give you reasons not to pick Haaland and not to pick Son. But also we've shown our drafts. And our Monday streams are more about reviewing the weekend just gone. And our Friday streams are going to be about previewing what's about to come. And look, you guys might know me as an FPL guy. You might know Dean from Ranks FC. We hope we found a really good balance, because we're both FPL enthusiasts. But Dean has the inside line at so many clubs, which mean transfer news, predicted 11s, things that are really helpful for FPL come into play. So follow our journey, like the channel if you like what you've seen tonight, and subscribe. We've seen a few subscribers coming in tonight, Dean.
Good. That's good to see. Yeah, look, I'm very excited. Like, this is it now. It's our last show before the season begins, and the next one on Monday. There'll be some big inquiries going on into the choices that we made, and your big 3, mate, up top. That is the standout moment from this show. I still can't believe you've done it. I did not expect you to go there. I look at it now and I think it is actually one of the most basic, correct decisions to make. If you're just it really is football in its simplest form. Pick the players who are most likely to score and be a success, and you've got them in your attack. So love to see it. Love to see you go back on what you were saying earlier on in the thing. But we're all going to tinker. I'll probably still do another tinker too before it starts off. No nuclear. I will not be doing a solo stream on Friday. I'll be back on Monday. Gianni, you've got a big day anyway. Yeah, you've got your big event coming up.
Yeah, mate. Thanks for mentioning that. I almost forgot. 6:30 is the deadline on Friday. And at 4 p.m, we are starting in London, in Waterloo. If you guys are UK based and can make it, Fantasy Football Festival. I'll be hosting it with Kelly Summers. Mark Southerns, the founder of Scout, will be doing a team reveal. We're giving away a trip to New York. Like, loads going on. So if you're in London, check out Fantasy Football Fest. Tickets £20. Come and say hello. But yeah, guys, if you're not, we will see you on Monday. He's been Dean, I've been Gianni, and we've been chasing green arrows. Good night.